this rumor circulating that I have prosthetic genitalia. It's not true.
How do these rumors even get started?
I don't have plastic balls.
And so finally, the panacea of global governance will issue in a period of unparalleled peace and prosperity, a golden age where humans of every creed, race and ideology will venture hand in hand out among the stars. Oh, bullshit. We are going to vaporize ourselves with nukes or dissolve everybody with some hideous nanotech being cooked up in a lab somewhere right now. What's more is, you're just as scared of this as I am.
Oh, really? You can read my mind, can you?
Yes?
Okay, not a killer comeback. Look, let's take as given these risks exist. It hardly means that we shouldn't strive for a more just society. In fact, it seems to make the case more urgent. Right now, the few instruments of global governance we have are wrecked. The Bush regime has dashed them to pieces. They have been crushed under the tanks of the M1 on the road to Baghdad, incinerated by white phosphor and vaporized by cruise missiles.
Poetic but pointless. My question to you is short. So what? The UN is useless. The US just did what the UN should have done anyhow.
Hang on. Are you suggesting we place a massive military at the disposal of the UN? That when the UN decides something requires action, the UN should go ahead and take action?
Well, obviously not. That would be insane. The UN can only do what the nation states of the Security Council say it can do.
The Security Council?
You know, France, Russia, China and that.
But the Security Council wasn't in agreement about invading Iraq, was it? And the French put in a veto, which the US then ignored, making the invasion illegal.
Well, it was a stupid veto, and it's a stupid system. A veto from any of 5 countries out of hundreds, chosen after a conflict that ended over 60 years ago. It's perfectly absurd.
Well, I agree. It's absurd. And now it's wrecked, and it's time to replace it with something else. Something that can work.
Like what?
A directly elected House of Representatives for the world. A body of global legislators debating and passing laws on issues of global importance, enforced by a global court.
That will never work. That will never work.
Why not? It works in every nation-state democracy in the world.
The UN is completely corrupt, for one. A global parliament would be totally corrupt.
Are some directly elected representatives within nation-states corrupt?
Well, yes, but...
Should we disband our national governments?
Well, no, of course not. That would mean chaos.
Exactly. The kind of chaos that is the norm at the global level. Why is this chaotic and dangerous status quo considered perfectly normal at a global level, but crazy within our nation states, cities or towns? What is the difference here, other than scale?
Well, it would be crazy to centralize power like that.
But hang on, weren't you just complaining that the UN was useless? Which is it that you want or fear the most? Capacity or incapacity? You have to have an actual position. You can't permanently harbour multiple and mutually exclusive objections.
Well, I don't like the idea of a global government having too much power.
Well, neither do I.
Okay.
I don't think a global parliament should have access to a military at all that isn't a temporary loan from a nation state, by agreement.
But what if nation states won't supply any military for an operation the parliament thinks is needed? What then?
Then the parliament can only make the moral case. Ask the global court to review the situation and let time do the rest.
And what happens to the people being killed and invaded while the parliament debates the moral case?
Well, I'm afraid they will be raped, enslaved and killed while we watch, just like in Darfur. The UN is useless because it suits the Security Council nation states for it to be useless. Likewise, a global parliament will not be able to act without assistance from the nation states, that is certain. However, it will differ from the UN in one critical respect. Its representatives will be beholden to the global electorate, not national governments. Don't underestimate the influence of civil society. If 6.5 billion people really disapprove of what you're doing, you'll know about it, especially if their directly elected representatives are all simultaneously screaming at you as well.
And there you have it. The circle is squared. The Parliament cannot mutate into a global tyranny because all it can do is pass laws and point fingers. Any violence it can unleash must first be provided under license by the nation-states. However, without a Security Council, the Parliament's decisions and judgments will be free of the noxious, crippling and inhibiting influence of national agendas. The Parliament's agenda will be that of the people that elected it, the people of Earth. When action fails to be taken, the true culprits will finally stand exposed. The individual nation-states that refuse to provide the means to enforce the will of the global Parliament or judiciary. The rest will be up to civil society, you and me. See you on the barricades.